This week's parashot is Shelach. Shelach is an interesting parashot because its numbers 13:1 through 15:41. It's the 37th reading from the Torah, and it's an imperative verb that means send out. This portion is so named from the few words of the second verse. Send out for yourselves men so that they may spy on the land of Canaan. Numbers 13:2. Let's begin. Elohim said to Moshe, send men out on your behalf to reconnoiter the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the people of Israel, from each ancestral tribe, someone who is a leader in his tribe. Moshe dispatched them from the Paran desert, as Elohim had ordered. All of them were leading men among the people of Israel. Elohim told Moshe, send the men out to Canaan. Why? Because they wanted to go. Because they made the decision to go and see what was there. Remember, the scripture reads, send out for yourselves men so that they may spy out the land of Canaan. The Torah does not say Elohim sent the men. The Torah does not say that they went on the right route when the men were sent out. Let's continue reading and find out what happened. Moshe sent them to reconnoiter the land of Canaan, instructing them, go on up to the Negev and into the hills and see what the land is like. Notice the people living there, whether they are strong or weak, few or many, and what kind of country they live in, whether it is good or bad, and what kind of cities they live in, open or fortified. See whether the land is fertile or unproductive, and whether there is wood in it or not. Finally, be bold enough to bring back some of the fruit from the land. When they left, it was the season for the first grapes to ripen. They went up and reconnoitered the land from the Zin desert to Rehov, near the entrance to Hamat. They went up into the Negev and arrived at Hebron. Ashman, Shishai, and Talmin, the Anakim, lived there. Hebron was built 7 days before Soran in Egypt. They came to the Eshkol Valley, and there they cut off a branch bearing one cluster of grapes, which they carried on a pole between two of them. They also took pomegranates and figs. That place was called the Valley of Eshkol, cluster, because of the cluster which the people of Israel cut down there. The men were sent to Canaan. But did they do what they were told? Did they follow the route that they were told by Elohim? Or did Moshe give them another route to follow? Were they to go up or were they to go down? Were they to see the giants or were they to never see the giants in the land? Did they go by their own direction? Or did they follow the directions of Elohim? Verse 25 reads, 40 days later, they returned from reconnoitering the land and went to Moshe, Aharon, and the entire community of the people of Israel at Kadesh in the Paran desert, where they brought back word to them and two of the entire community and showed them the fruit of the land. What they told him was this: we entered the land where you sent us, and indeed it was flowing with milk and honey. Here is its fruit. However, the people living in the land are fierce, and the cities are fortified and very large. Moreover, we saw the Anakim there. Amakel, or giants, live in the area of the Negev. The Hitti, the Yushi, and the Emorai live in the hills. And the Canaani live by the sea and alongside the Yarden. Caleb silenced the people around Moshe and said, we ought to go up immediately and take possession of it. There is no question that we can conquer it. But the men who had gone with him said, we can't attack those people because they are stronger than we are. And they spread a negative report about the land they had reconnoitered for the people of Israel, saying, the land we passed through in order to spy it out is a land that devours its inhabitants. All the people we saw were giants. We saw the Nephilim and the descendants of Anak, who was from the Nephilim. To ourselves, we look like grasshoppers by comparison, but we look that way to them too. The Hebrew verse says that there is no milk and honey in the land. It uses a different word. Verse 27 reads in the Hebrew, and they reconnoitered to him, and they said, we came to the land that you sent us. And also, she is issuing fat and honey. This is her produce. Fat and honey. Fat is a word that's also halav in Hebrew. Halav in Hebrew can mean cows or produce. It could be said that there was much produce in the land, or that there were many cows to seek from. Cows over time became translated to milk, and then we end up with a land of milk and honey. Therefore, it could be a land that's fertile with cows and with bees, but it cannot be a land of milk and honey. What do you think? Do you think we should go with the Hebrew or stay with the English translation? Additionally, why were they scared? Was it because they took the wrong path? Or was it because they took the wrong route in Canaan? Do we ever take the route that we want to due to our stubbornness? Do we ever take the route that we think is best as opposed to the route sought out by Elohim for us to take? Does our obstinance play a role in the route we take? Are we on the right path or on the wrong path?